Vicencio, Colombia, 1999. A monster has been hunting young boys on the streets of Colombia since the 1980s. When he is finally caught, the extent of the beast's crimes is truly horrific. Let us explore. Luis Garavito was born on January 25, 1957 in Geneva, Quindo, Colombia. With a neglectful, strict, and often abusive father, Luis and his siblings hid from their patriarch. Described as being very withdrawn and extremely aggressive, Luis was ready to take revenge on the world. Himself a victim, having been assaulted by a pharmacist when he was 12, Luis turned his increasing anger towards small animals and his younger siblings. In the early 70s, he attempted his first sexual relationship with a woman, but was rejected. Shortly after, he was kicked out of the family home for attempting to abuse a 5-year-old boy. He told authorities he hadn't wanted to seriously harm the child. He took on odd jobs but had trouble keeping them due to his increasing alcoholism. He eventually had relationships with women and nurtured their children as if they were his own, with no signs of abuse towards them. But when he was drunk, which was often, he became violent and declared his intentions to kill his father. Throughout the 70s, Luis compulsively hunted and harmed both male and female children, but slowly developed an exclusive preference for pubescent boys. During this time, he suffered symptoms of psychosis, paranoia, and depression. He wanted to start a family, but also suffered from erectile dysfunction with his female partners, leading to multiple attempts at suicide. When asked about these attempts, he stated that he wanted children. And now a word from our sponsor, Preston & Preston Products.
Tired of trying to snuggle in bed with your loved one and not knowing where to put your other arm? The friendly folks at Preston & Preston have a solution. Introducing the Cuddle Clippers. Say goodbye to numb fingers and awkward adjustments in bed. The Cuddle Clippers will quickly and easily remove that pesky extra arm. Just insert your arm, press the button, and voila! With its custom cauterizing action, you won't need to spend money on pricey surgery, and you can do it right in the comfort of your own home. Warning: will limit options for holding hands. Preston & Preston's Cuddle Clippers. We know what you need before you do.
What are they doing with the severed arms? Whatever. It's now 1980. Luis Garavito has been repeatedly hospitalized for attempts on his own life and is prescribed antipsychotic medication. He has a constant urge to molest boys and afterwards writes their names down and prays for them. He suffers nightmares and tries to find meaning for his existence in the Bible, as well as through astrology and tarot readings. These did little to help him. Between 1980 and 1992, Garavito raped and tortured an estimated 200 youths. His first murder was a 13-year-old boy in 1992. Over the following 7 years, he would go on to rape, torture, murder, and defile the corpses of approximately 172 more boys. By his own admissions, Garavito targeted orphaned and homeless children, often luring them away with the promise of odd jobs or candy. He preferred innocent-looking children with light hair and skin. Garavito, himself terrified of the dark, would approach them in broad daylight in public places and would often disguise himself as a priest or school teacher. After a prolonged period where he would molest and torture his victims, he would then climax while decapitating them. Jesus. Necrophilia was often a part of his process, as well as, you know what? We're going to skip ahead here. Due to an ongoing civil war in Colombia, missing children were unlikely to be reported missing, allowing Garavito's crimes to go unnoticed. But in 1998, a mass grave was discovered with the bodies of 36 children, all boys, with signs of binding, sexual assault, and prolonged torture. An official investigation was launched. In February 1999, Garavito, drunk, passed out on the corpse of a child in the middle of a sugarcane field with a lit cigarette in his hand. The field caught fire, causing Garavito to flee the scene. He had burned himself and subsequently left behind his custom eyeglasses, clothes, money, receipts, and the address of a previous girlfriend. When questioned, she gave investigators a suitcase Garavito had left with her, containing photos of young boys and a journal with details of his murders and tally marks. He was subsequently picked up by local police on the unrelated charge of the attempted rape of a 12-year-old boy, but had given them false identification. Detectives suspected they had Garavito, and with the evidence recovered from the sugarcane field and his DNA, their suspicions were confirmed. And now another word from our sponsor.
Have a pesky severed arm that needs to be disposed of, a rusty lock that just won't open, chip paint that needs to come off. The friendly folks at Preston & Preston have a solution. Introducing their new all-purpose acid. Say goodbye to unwanted stains and their associated DNA evidence. No longer will you wonder, how will I get rid of this? Utilizing a synthesized version of xenomorph blood, their new all-purpose acid will take care of all your dissolving needs. Preston & Preston, we know what you need before you do.
I'm beginning to get seriously worried about where my paycheck is coming from. Luis Garavito is now in custody. After being interrogated for over 12 hours, he finally broke down and confessed to raping, torturing, and killing about 140 boys. He was charged with 172 counts and found guilty of 138. He also confessed to killing abroad and estimated that he had killed upwards of 200 children. Here's where things get tricky. Garavito was sentenced to 1,853 years in prison, the lengthiest sentence in Colombian history. However, if you can believe this, Colombian law at the time limited imprisonment to 40 years. On top of that, because he assisted police in locating the bodies of his victims, his sentence was reduced to 22 years. To put this into perspective, in the United States, the sexual assault of one child would receive a similar sentence. Garavito assaulted over 200 boys before murdering another 200. Garavito would have been up for parole in 2023, but he died in prison before this could happen. He was 66 years old. The public outrage over his sentencing led the Colombian government to increase the maximum penalty to 60 years. In 2006, Garavito was interviewed for a television show where he expressed interest in starting a political career when released to help impoverished and abused children. Glad that didn't happen. Luis the Beast Garavito was himself a victim of abuse as a child and suffered from mental illness and addiction, but can anything excuse the horrific extent of his crimes? What would he have done if he'd been released? I'm Peter Brown, and I'll see you next time on Explore. I'm just saying, Cuddle Clippers, all-purpose acid, they're literally selling products to quickly and easily chop up and dispose of bodies. I gotta figure out what is going on with this company.